This video contains spoilers from Steven Bomb 5, as it was mistakenly released early on Cartoon Network servers. So please, if you don't want to be spoiled, click off now. And if you've already watched this episode, please, when it gets released officially, watch it on TV. Watch it on Cartoon Network's website, support the show, buy merchandise, do something to support the show, to support the official release, please. Without further ado, let's get right into the video. Hey guys, Ostrich Vox here, and welcome to my review of Adventures in Light Distortion. This is probably one of the more emotional episodes of this bomb, if not the most. It's honestly tied with That'll Be All, but there's so much little tidbits of information we got in the beginning of the episode that was really baity for a lot of theorists. So Steven and Garnet return to the temple and they're freaking out because Blue Diamond just kidnapped Greg. When they're all trying to figure out where he could have gone, they come to the conclusion of Pink Diamond Zoo. Which, shout out to Ronaldo, because back in season 2, in the episode Rising Tides, Crashing Skies, homeboy said,
"So the hand wasn't here to snatch up humans for a human zoo? Or interfere with our subsidized beach city wind farm?"
But trust me, I have a whole video coming of all Ronaldo's theories through his little blog, and how it could be foreshadowing in the show, but that's besides the point. People actually speculated that Greg would be taken to a human zoo because it said foreshadowing. Well, I kind of thought it would be a corrupted gem zoo because I didn't think the diamonds had that much interest in humans. So pat yourself on the back if you figured out that it would be a human zoo. You are a great prognosticator. Certainly better than me. But two things back to back that were really baity to like theorists and people who just like to dig into the context of the show. And that's two things Pearl said. One, she didn't think the zoo was around. She had said something along the lines of, and could it be after we blank? Why would it be around if after you shattered Pink Diamond, or after Rose shattered Pink Diamond, unless she wasn't the only one involved in shattering Pink Diamond? Either that, or they did something specifically to the zoo after Pink Diamond got shattered. But the former sounds more dramatic, so I'm gonna go with that. The other thing Pearl said was basically confirmation that she belongs to White Diamond. Now, White Diamond is the only one who hasn't been mentioned by name yet. And this is the closest we've ever gotten, because Pearl says, back when I used to serve Homeworld, she pauses. And when she pauses, you can faintly hear the Diamond theme in a mix of the current music. So Pearl definitely served White Diamond. This episode all more or less just proved it for me. And we're definitely, well, hopefully gonna see her soon. So the gems buckle up and they go into space. But before they go into space, they tell Peridot and Lapis, protect Beach City if anything happens. Which at first I got kind of pumped because I'm like, Peridot and Lapis going with them? Let's go. But Steven also told Connie to protect Beach City in case something happens while they're gone. So it does make me think, maybe when they get back, something does happen and it's Connie, Lapis, and Peridot fitting off whatever happens, but that's a stretch. But like I said, that dialogue kind of set it up for a reason, but we'll just have to wait and see. We also learned that they can change the color of at least the lights in the Ruby ship. Peridot said, would you like green lights over red lights? So I'm assuming you can change the color of it. Now, they have to figure out a way to get to the zoo faster, because it'll take them 70 human years at this rate. And when Steven's messing with the settings, he starts messing up with the gems' mass, aka light distortion. I thought light distortion had something to do with corruption, just because gems' bodies are made of light, corrupt, distort. But no, it seems like light distortion is actually messing up the mass of a gem, distorting the properties of their physical form, but not corrupting them. And you can see all the settings that Steven's messing with. It looks like it was a setting for quartz soldiers, a setting for rubies, and a setting for diamonds. The quartz, they got somewhat bigger. The rubies, they got really tinier. Well, I think that's for like rubies, peridots, etc. And then for the diamond setting, they got really big. They also encountered the rubies on the way. Well, besides Eyeball, of course. And Steven says that we will pick them up on the way back, which surprised me because I thought they would pick up the rubies once they go into space, but they're in a hurry, so I understand why they didn't. However, for everyone who's seen the end of this arc, you know if they don't pick up the rubies, it could actually have serious ramifications and devastating consequences. Also take note of how we don't see Eyeball hit this ship at all. So while Steven's just going willy-nilly on the controls, he finally activates warp speed, but it causes the gems' physical forms to lag behind, to just disappear completely. We don't know what's happening at the time. We see that their bodies are gone and their gems just hit the door. And this introduces one of the most emotional scenes of the entire bomb, and one of the most emotional scenes in general, where Steven's just freaking out. He's having a panic attack. He's going at warp speed. The gems are gone. He's like, Amethyst, you should be reformed by now. Then he starts blaming himself, and then he starts crying, and then he just says, I want my dad. He's bawling, snot's coming out of his nose, and it's actually like really emotional because you realize Steven is just a kid. He's 14 now, but 14 isn't really much. But in the midst of all his tears and his panic, he manages to pull himself together long enough to hit the button again, the control panel, and the warp speed stops. That's when the gems reveal their bodies are actually lagging behind, but they're safe now. They are never in any actual real danger, and Amethyst is even like, oh, I faced through a planet. They congratulate Steven for figuring it out, and they make it to the zoo. And Steven hopes that he can see his dad soon. Now, something else I want to talk about in the episode is that they kind of confirmed that Greg is in his 40s, because when they say it'll take 70 years to make it to the zoo, and that they'll be there just in time for Greg's 110th birthday, Steven's like, my dad's not in great of that shape to live that long. So yeah, that's some pretty solid confirmation that Greg's 40. I do think the rubies will come back into play. Now the art animation was great in this episode, let me tell you. And it also has some pretty nice colors. The light distortion scene was kind of trippy. So definitely kudos to the Crewniverse on that. But god, the art was kind of off sometimes, especially with Pearl and her nose. I know each storyboarder has their own style, but it really distracted me at moments in the episode. It was nothing bad. And I think for Steven, the moral of the episode was just like, he got himself into this because he didn't listen. If he just listened to Garnet, this wouldn't have happened. But that would have been boring for the plot of the actual show, so I'm glad you didn't listen, Steven. This episode is probably the most straightforward of the bunch, as it didn't introduce anything new besides Pink Diamond Zoo. But we've already been into space, we've already been in the roaming eye, we didn't get any new characters, etc. All the other episodes of The Bomb introduced someone or something new. The something new that we got was Pink Diamond Zoo, but it was at the very end of the episode. Not that that's a bad thing, it was still a pretty great episode. Like I said, lots of emotions, lots of crying, and I'm pretty sure this bomb has a record for most crying, but at least they're all kind of justified. Kinda. However, these are my thoughts, and I would love to hear yours, so please comment down below. What did you think of this episode? Unfortunately, while it is a great episode with lots of emotion, I feel like it'll be one of the more forgotten episodes of The Bomb, if not the most, because like I said, it didn't really introduce that many new things, while all the other ones do. So yeah, share your thoughts. Don't be shy, don't be a stranger, comment down below. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, it really helps me out. Click the little bell for notifications so you can never miss a review of Steven Universe on this channel. Start our social media, links to everything in the description down below. Join our Discord if you want. Support us on Patreon. And Awestruck Vox, signing out.